We are in Washington, D.C., and we're going to show you the fun things you can do here. Our first stop is the National Archives.
Established in 1934, this institution safeguards the nation's most treasured documents.
We're waiting in line to see the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights.
And this is where National Treasures was filmed and Nicolas Cage was trying to steal the Declaration.
This is the original Declaration of Independence. Ahsoka soon. Do you see John Hancock? Oh, John Adams is there. Next, we're looking at the Constitution. That's Article 1, which describes the legislative branch. Article 2 is the executive branch. Who is this by? Is this by himself? Only he would have his own merge. Oh wow. $12.95. $12.95. Donald Duck. And that was the National Archives.
My favorite part was, of course, seeing the Declaration. It was a lot faded than I thought it would be, but it was still really cool to see all those signatures. Like John Adams' signature, that was very clear.
There were a lot of really historical documents at this museum, and I'm also glad that I was able to read some of them, but then for others like the Declaration of Independence, they were kind of faded, and I guess that just shows how old they are. I also liked seeing the gift shop because it now has some very funny Trump merch.
Now we're at the Department of Treasury Bureau of Engraving and Printing.
Founded in 1862, this is where U.S. money is printed with care, security, and history in every bill.
This is $1 million in $10 bills.
This exhibit shows how they stop counterfeit from happening. And it's just the small details that make a huge difference.
And that was the Bureau of Engraving and Printing.
I really enjoyed learning about how money is printed, but my favorite part was learning about the counterfeiting, because it was really interesting how they add all these little details just so that people can't print fake money and use it.
This was my favorite tour in Washington, D.C. so far, but we weren't allowed to take pictures or video. It was really cool seeing the dollar bills that were in these large sheets, and some of them were only half printed because they hadn't completed putting like the green ink on it. And we also got to see some in the process that didn't work out, so they kind of crumpled the paper and they were going to throw it away. Our next stop is National Museum of Women in the Arts.
This museum celebrates women artists and shares their stories through art.
This piece is called Big Horn by Deborah Butterfield. This horse is actually not made of wood, it's made of bronze and then painted. This sculpture is by Sarah Bernhardt and it's called After the Storm. And this artist was inspired by the sculpture that Michelangelo made where it was Mary and then Jesus was laying down.
Now we're checking out the uncanny exhibit.
I thought that was like Visitor. And that is the National Museum of Women in the Arts.
My favorite art piece was the horse. It was made of bronze, but it really looked like real wood.
If you come to this museum, make sure you go on the guided tour because it was very informative, and without it, we wouldn't have known about a lot of the artworks. And I think the gallery that stood out the most to me was the Uncanny Gallery. Our next stop is Planet Word.
This museum makes language fun with hands-on exhibits about words and how we use them.
This is the elevator you enter to go from the first to the third floor, and look how well done it is. It's like you're in a library or bookstore. The first exhibit is the spoken world, and around this entire globe, there's these tablets. And for the location that you're at, that's the language that you can learn with the tablet. So for example, over here is North America. So you'll hear some North American based languages. And then as you go to Europe, that's where you can learn French and stuff like that. Hello.
Hello, I'm Nina. I'm from Germany. In my language, we often combine words to make new, longer words. Our word for sloth is Faultier, and we got it by mashing up faul, our word for lazy, with Tier, meaning animal.
Faultier.
Try it. Say Faultier.
Faultier.
Say Ich gehe.
Ich gehe.
Say Handschuh.
Handschuh.
Very good.
Oh.
Our words can get super long, like Nahrungsmittelunverträglichkeit. That means food intolerance. Don't worry though, I won't make you say it.
Mi corazón, dame un poco de agua.
Mi corazón, dame un poco de agua.
How am I not getting my own language?
It's Japanese.
Mariko-chan, ohayo. Say, Mariko-chan, ohayo.
Mariko-chan, Ohio.
Ice cream.
Ice cream.
That means ice cream. Well, thanks for learning Japanese with me.
Hello, and welcome to Planet Word.
Hello. Hi there.
You're standing in front of about 1,000 words. And that's not even 1% of the entire English language. Can you guess the 10 most common words in English? Step right up and say them into the mics.
And I have be that in the to
Warfare, conquest. 90% of English comes from French, Latin, Greek, or Germanic languages. All these words are onomatopoeia, words that come from sounds.
pop, pop.
Words. Word.
This exhibit shows how words are in music. It's kind of like karaoke. What did the duck say to the bartender? You can put it on my bill.
How do you cut an ocean in half? With a seesaw.
Why do cows have hooves instead of feet?
Why?
Because they lack toes.
I didn't know that I was going to have to eat my words.
Of course, everyone here does.
One day, Simba, the sun will set on my time here and will rise as you as the new king. And so we are all connected in the great circle of life.
Pronounce their names the same way?
Pin and pen, no.
If you pronounce both of these like pen, there's a good chance you're from the southeastern U.S.
Yeah, that's
But in most
wrong.
other places, pen and pen are pronounced differently.
And that is Planet Word.
I really enjoyed this museum. It's probably the best museum in DC that we've been to. It was very interactive and I really enjoyed the second floor. Mainly the word video where you had to speak into the microphone and then different things would pop up and they would teach you about how different words work.
I also really enjoyed this museum, especially the third floor where there were all those tablets and you could practice speaking the languages. And also that word show with all those words on the wall. And now we are at Ford's Theater and we're gonna watch Sister Act.
Opened in 1863, this theater still puts on live shows, mixing history with great performances.
And that is Sister Act at Ford's Theater.
This was an amazing show. I give it 4.9 out of 5 stars. I've been rating every musical that I've seen this year, and this one has been the best out of all of them. From the songs and also the story, it was just amazing.
I also really enjoyed this show, and I liked how you were able to see the musicians from the bottom, and one of them even dressed up as the Pope because that was incorporated into the storyline. And it was really cool being able to watch the show at a historical site.
See you in the next video. Bye!